Ethan never believed in forever. Still, when he met Lily Carter during his first year at Harvard University, something inside him changed. She wasn't the most beautiful girl on campus. She wasn't the loudest either. But she had this smile. The kind that made broken people believe they could heal. It started on a rainy October evening. Ethan sat alone in the university library, headphones on, pretending to study while secretly fighting tears after another argument with his father over the phone. Bills, responsibilities, expectations, his life felt like a prison. Then suddenly, someone dropped a pile of books beside him. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." He looked up. A girl with soaked brown hair and nervous eyes stared at him while trying to collect her scattered papers. Ethan removed one headphone. "You okay?" She laughed awkwardly. "I think the floor and I are becoming emotionally attached." For the first time in months, Ethan smiled. That was how it began. Not with fireworks. Not with destiny. Just two lonely people meeting on a rainy night. After that, they became inseparable. Coffee after classes. Late night walks around the campus. Studying together while pretending not to stare at each other. Lily loved sunsets. Ethan loved silence. Yet somehow, together, they made sense. One evening, while sitting near the river beside campus, Lily asked softly, "What's your biggest fear?" Ethan looked at the water. "Being abandoned." She frowned. "I would never leave you." He smiled weakly. "Everyone says that." She grabbed his hand tightly. "Then let me be different." And for a while, she was. Months turned into years. Their love became the kind people envied. They posted blurry photos together, shared playlists, dreamed about apartments they couldn't afford yet. Ethan worked part-time every night to support himself. Lily wanted to become a writer. Whenever she doubted herself, Ethan stayed awake, encouraging her. "You're going to be famous someday," he'd whisper. "And when I am," she'd reply, "you'll still be the only person I'll ever need." He believed her. God, he believed every word. But love doesn't always die suddenly. Sometimes. It dies quietly, like a candle slowly running out of flame. It started after graduation. Reality entered their lives like a storm. Ethan got a small job at a tech company in New York City. The pay was terrible. The hours were worse. Lily, meanwhile, started gaining attention online for her writing. Her articles went viral. Brands contacted her. Publishers noticed her. She began entering a world Ethan didn't belong to anymore. Fancy dinners. Networking parties. Successful people with expensive watches and confident smiles. Ethan tried to keep up. He really did. But every time he arrived late from work, exhausted and drained, he noticed the disappointment in her eyes growing larger. One night she said quietly, "You're always tired now. I'm working for our future. But what about our present?" He didn't answer. Because deep down, he knew she was slipping away. Then came Mason Blake. Rich. Charming. Confident. The exact opposite of Ethan. Mason owned a publishing company that wanted to work with Lily. At first, Ethan trusted her completely. Why wouldn't he? She was Lily. His Lily. But slowly, small things changed. She stopped replying quickly. Canceled dates. Started hiding her phone screen. And worst of all, her smile around Ethan became forced. One Friday night, Ethan waited outside her apartment holding flowers for their anniversary. 2 hours passed. Then 3. Finally, he saw a black luxury car stop near the building. Lily stepped out, laughing. With Mason. Ethan felt his chest tighten. She froze when she saw him standing there in the rain. Ethan. Mason looked uncomfortable. I should go. As the car disappeared, silence swallowed the street. Ethan held the flowers tighter. You forgot. Tears filled her eyes instantly. I'm sorry. No, he whispered. You're different. She looked away. That hurt more than anything, because guilty people avoid eye contact. Over the next weeks, their relationship collapsed piece by piece. Arguments became daily. You don't understand my career. And you don't understand what loyalty means anymore. That's unfair. Is it? One night, during a brutal fight, Ethan finally asked the question destroying him inside. Do you love him? Lily stayed silent. And silence sometimes says everything. Ethan's voice cracked. Answer me. She finally whispered. I didn't mean for this to happen. Those words shattered him. Not because she admitted loving someone else, but because she sounded relieved. As if the truth had finally escaped. Ethan stepped backward like someone punched him. So it's real. Tears streamed down her face. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. I'm confused. No, he said painfully. You already chose. The room became unbearably quiet. Then Lily spoke the words Ethan would remember for the rest of his life. I think I need a different future. Different future. Not different dreams. Not different timing. Different future. A future without him. That night, Ethan walked through the streets of New York alone while rain soaked his clothes. Cars passed. People laughed. The city continued living. But his world had ended. He kept replaying memories in his head. Her first smile. Their first kiss. The promises. The plans. All gone. How could someone become a stranger so fast? He reached the bridge near the river where they once talked about forever. And suddenly he realized something terrifying. The person he loved still existed, but not for him anymore. Days turned into months. Lily officially started dating Mason. Social media became Ethan's personal hell. Photos of vacations. Romantic captions. Luxury restaurants. Everyone commented how perfect they looked together. Ethan stopped sleeping properly. Stopped eating. Stopped answering calls. His apartment became dark and silent. Every corner reminded him of her. The coffee mug she bought. The hoodie she stole. The old Polaroid pictures taped to the wall. One night, unable to take it anymore, he removed every photo. But when he reached the last one, he broke down crying on the floor. Because no matter how hard he tried, he still loved her. And that was the cruelest part. She destroyed him. Yet his heart still searched for her. Winter arrived. Snow covered the city streets. Ethan buried himself in work, hoping exhaustion would numb the pain. It didn't. Pain doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It waits. Quietly. Then attacks when you're alone. One evening, Ethan received a text from an unknown number. Can we talk? It was Lily. His hands shook instantly. Part of him wanted to ignore her forever. Another part still missed her voice. Against his better judgment, he replied. Why? Several minutes passed. Then, I need to see you. They met at a small cafe near campus where their story once began. Lily looked different. Beautiful, but tired. The spark in her eyes was fading. Ethan sat across from her silently. She stared at her coffee. Mason and I broke up. Ethan felt nothing. Or maybe he felt too much. I'm sorry. No, you're not. He looked at her calmly. She nodded slowly. You're right. Silence again. Then she whispered, I made a mistake. Those words once would have healed him. Now they only hurt. Ethan leaned back. Why are you here, Lily? Tears filled her eyes. Because losing you destroyed me. He almost laughed. Destroyed her? She chose this. She walked away. She replaced him. Yet now she spoke like she was the victim. I thought success would make me happy, she continued. I thought Mason understood the person I wanted to become. But none of it mattered. Ethan looked out the window. Snow fell softly outside. You made your choice. I know. And now he's gone, you remembered me? That's not fair. No, Ethan said quietly. What you did wasn't fair. Lily finally cried openly. I loved you. He closed his eyes painfully. Then why did you leave? She couldn't answer. Because sometimes there is no beautiful explanation. People leave simply because they want something else. And love alone isn't always enough to stop them. After the cafe meeting, Lily tried to return into Ethan's life. Messages, calls, long emotional emails. But something inside Ethan had changed forever. The boy who once begged for her attention no longer existed. Pain had turned him into someone colder, stronger. One night she appeared outside his apartment. I miss you, she whispered. Ethan stared at her silently. She stepped closer. We can fix this. For a moment, his heart weakened. This was the girl he once planned an entire future with. The girl he would have died for. But then he remembered standing alone in the rain holding flowers while she laughed with someone else. He remembered sleepless nights. The anxiety. The betrayal. The emptiness. And suddenly he understood something important. Missing someone doesn't erase what they did to you. Lily reached for his hand. I still love you. Ethan slowly stepped back. Tears filled her eyes instantly. And then came the saddest moment of all. Because Ethan still loved her too. But love and trust are not the same thing. I can't, he whispered. Her lips trembled. Please. You broke something inside me. She cried harder. I'm sorry. I know. He looked at her one final time. And, despite everything, he smiled softly. Not out of happiness. But goodbye. You chose someone else, Lily. The words destroyed both of them. Because this time, there was no fixing it. Years later, Ethan became successful. Not because heartbreak magically motivates people, but because pain changes them. He moved to Chicago, started his own company, built a new life. People admired him now. Friends said he seemed stronger. But some wounds never fully heal. One evening during autumn, Ethan walked through a bookstore after a business meeting. Then suddenly, he froze. A familiar face stood near the poetry section. Lily. Older now. Softer somehow. She noticed him too. For a moment, time stopped. Then she smiled sadly. Hi, Ethan. Hi. They stood awkwardly between shelves filled with stories. Funny, really. Because they once were one. After a short silence, Lily spoke. I read about your company. I'm proud of you. Thanks. She nodded slowly. I got married last year. His chest tightened slightly. But he smiled politely. That's good. And you? Just working. She looked at him carefully. You happy? Ethan thought for a moment. Then answered honestly. Some days. She smiled painfully as if she understood exactly what that meant. Before leaving, she whispered. I never stopped regretting it. Ethan looked at her quietly. then finally said the words he carried for years. "I forgave you a long time ago." Tears filled her eyes. But forgiveness doesn't always mean second chances. She nodded slowly, because deep down, she always knew. That night, Ethan sat alone in his apartment watching rain hit the windows. And for the first time in years, he allowed himself to remember everything without anger. The library, the river, the dreams, the heartbreak. Lily was the greatest love of his life, and also his greatest pain. But maybe that's how some stories are meant to end. Not with hatred, not with revenge, just sadness. The quiet kind that stays in your chest forever. Ethan opened an old box hidden in his closet. Inside was the final photo they ever took together. Young, laughing, in love. He stared at it for a long time, then finally whispered, "I really would have given you forever." Outside, thunder echoed across the city. And somewhere far away, perhaps Lily was remembering him too. The boy who loved her when he had nothing. The boy she left behind. The boy who never truly stopped loving her, even after she chose someone else.